Okay, that's it. I decided to share my glitch in the matrix stories here on TikTok. And I must say I'm a little bit nervous because not only did I try sharing them on YouTube and nobody cared, but also they are so crazy and so many from early on in my childhood that it's like I already know that at least 90% of you are not going to believe me. It's too crazy. You're going to be like, yeah, right. You live in some type of slits in this universe on this planet where it's only glitch in the matrix happening or something. But you know what? I don't care anymore. Especially right now, I see so many stories coming out. I'm like, if not now, when then? This is the time right now. So I'm going to start sharing this with you. So today I'm going to share a really short story. It's one of the early ones I can remember. It was when I was a child. To be exact, I was 5 years old. And I know that for sure because that was when my mom was in the hospital because my brother was born. So I was 5 years old and I was alone at home with my dad. Okay. And then, we were hanging out and stuff. And all of a sudden my dad says to me, "Cutie, you know what? I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go down the street and get some milk for us." Okay. And I was like, okay. And I was a little bit nervous because usually he doesn't really let me alone like that, And then, and now when I think about it, it's a little bit irresponsible from him. Irresponsible. Can I not talk anymore? Irresponsible from him, but typical dad, right? Especially back in the days, that's a long time ago when we were still out in the streets with no supervision until it got dark. Okay, that's how long ago it is. Anyway, so I was there with him at home and he said he's going to get some milk. And then, it's like this. There's like a little hallway like this and it goes around the corner like this. And I was standing right there at the corner. And the door of our apartment was right there, right? And he was standing in the door and he was, the door was open like this towards me. And he was like, "Okay, cutie, you know what? I'm going to be right back, okay? I love you. I'm going to be right back." I'm like, okay. And I'm standing there and the door closes and boom, it opens again. And he's there with the milk in his hand. And I'm like, yeah, right. He's like, "What's up?" I'm like, "Yeah, come on, you're pranking me, right?" And he's like, "What do you mean pranking you?" And I'm like, "The milk was outside in the hallway, wasn't it?" And he's like, "No." And I was sure he was pranking me. And I even had like a hard time to explain it because after all, I was only 5 years old. And I'm explaining to him, I'm at the same spot. Do you not realize that I'm at the same exact spot? Right? And he's like, "I guess so, And throughout all the years, like I asked him, maybe every like 2 or 3 years, I kept asking him again. I can't speak anymore. Kept asking him again and again and again. The last time was maybe like 3 years ago. I asked him again. And I even got really serious at times. And I'm like, "Dad, did you prank me?" And he's like, "No, I promise I didn't prank you." And he wouldn't do that to me, let me think I'm crazy like that if I'm already seriously asking him. And, after all these years, I still don't understand what that was. I really don't. You will see with all my stories that I'm about to tell, all these crazy stories, there's always some type of theoretical theory of what it could maybe be, But with this one, I have no clue. And it's not like I blanked out or something. It's not that like I spaced out or something. And I was a pretty aware child, My dad used to always do like these meditations with us and ask us about like the width of the universe, how big it is to think about it, to comprehend these type of things, So he made me pretty aware pretty early on, but I have no clue what that was. But I know for sure I didn't space out or something, So if anything like that happened to any one of you ever, or if you have any idea what that could have been, I don't know, please let me know. I'm so sick and tired of being alone with those feelings and those experiences. That's also a reason why I'm sharing. Okay, anyway, much love to everyone. Stay focused and have a blessed now, since that's all there is. Peace.
I like that. A blessed now, since that is all there is. Her jewelry was popping. I wonder if she sells jewelry. You will find out because what? You're gonna go follow her. Yes. Follow all of these creators. That was crazy because I was just like, what? Maybe, but no, if she literally seen him shut the door and then open it back up like the next sec, wow, that time glitch is crazy. Because I know there's been times where I've been watching TV as a child and somebody be like, I'm about to go do something, and then I look back and then they're back and it's just like, a commercial break? Was that a commercial break? You know, like it's just like, okay, I got zoned into the show and not realized that it's been like 30 minutes or something like that. Or maybe it was a time glitch and I just made it make sense. I just made it make sense. But nah, friend, what? Your dad went for some milk and it wasn't like our dad. I'm talking to me, myself, and I. Because what dad? But yeah, and he came back immediately right afterwards. You can't tell me that wasn't a glitch. Especially she said that she has experienced many glitches, but she said that her dad was talking about the universe and all this stuff, so maybe she was just built for this. Like it was set up, destined for her to see glitches and notice them. Because maybe we have glitches all the time and we just do not notice it. Because you know when you like read, you remember back in the day, there used to be this paragraph that was all the words was scrambled up, but except for the first letter and the last letter of the word, but your brain just magically rearranged the words to actually know what the word is and you just read it. Maybe it was like that, how glitches are normally. Our brain just makes up for the missing pieces and we just can function. Maybe that's how it is, how it's been in our life. We just didn't realize glitches, but now in our present, we are present, like she's saying, be in the now. Maybe that's how it is, and now we can actually see and notice, oh, something's not right. This is a glitch. Maybe it's a possibility. It's just my thoughts. They're in there. There's a lot of thoughts in here. My mom's always talking about, you think about a lot of stuff, don't you? I was like, yeah, I be having high sober thoughts. Let's be sober as hell with these high thoughts. It's crazy. But yeah, friend, like I said, follow her, follow all the creators, follow me. Hi, buy my merch. Hi. Thank you, all of you who have bought my merch. I hope you like your bandanas and shirts. I hope they cute. I know they cute. Send me pictures. Okay. So I got 2 books out too, okay? One is called Whispers in the Dark, and then the other is called Something About 30, and y'all have been asking about that one, and it's finally out. What's the day is? Friday? Yeah, it's definitely out. It's definitely out now. So go cop that, go purchase that, get the merch. I don't have a bandana on today, but get the merch, you feel me? I appreciate you guys. I have another book that's about to be coming out, which is my first book I wrote. Like, what? Your first book is coming out third? Yeah, it's silly. Is it my first book? The first book I did? No, I think the first book I did was a weight loss book. So this is my second book. If you want that weight loss book, just let me know. It's really short. It's cute. It lets you know how I lost my weight, because y'all remember when I was chubby.
So I have a spooky story for you, and this one takes us back to 2020. We'll say around February or March, right around COVID. So there's an office building full of people. They've worked together for a pretty long time. Very few new people, but there were 2 gentlemen who always saw each other in passing. We'll call one of them Kelvin and the other one Ron. Now, Ron and Kelvin weren't super close, but they knew each other just by virtue of always being at work together. Ron would stop in Kelvin's office and they would chat it up in the mornings, and then Ron would go on his way. So later that March, COVID gets really bad and this company decides to send all of its employees home for telework. And it would go on like this for years. Now, sadly, during the course of this 4 years, this company lost a number of its employees to COVID. And because people weren't coming in the way they used to, a lot of people fell out of touch with their coworkers unless they worked directly with them. Now, fast forward roughly 3 years, it's January 2023, and this company decides to bring all of its employees back to the office. Now, because it's been almost 3 years since everybody's been back in full time, people have shuffled around quite a bit. There's been people who have left for new opportunities, people who've moved divisions, new faces to replace the old faces, people have retired. There's just a lot of new people, and people were generally pretty decent about having to come back into the office. Now, in this 3 years that this company was out, they had done quite a few renovations, shuffled some things around, and so offices moved and weren't where they were previously located. But somehow, much like they had done beforehand, Ron and Calvin managed to find each other. Calvin's office had moved from the first floor up to the third floor, and Ron, doing his daily walks, had seen him. Now, Calvin always got into the office super early, we'll say around 5:30 in the morning. He was one of the first to get there, and he left around 3 p.m. So when Ron came in at around 6 or 7 o'clock, that was usually one of the first people he would go and see. So on one of these mornings back at the office, Ron and Calvin were having their daily conversation as they did, and all of a sudden the two men stopped because they're both hearing a noise. It sounds like something is creaking down the hallway. Now the two pause their conversations and they listen closely because typically at that time of the morning, there are very few people in the building. That's when the source of the noise was revealed. It was a custodian with her mop bucket, and she was dragging it along the hallway, creating the disturbance. As she passed by Calvin's office door, she looked in and she gave a greeting. She kept it moving, but Ron noticed as the woman finished passing that she had a very strange look on her face. So he peered into the office and looked at Calvin. The two of them exchanged a weird glance and then laughed it off. But during the course of the next month, anytime the custodian was in the building and she passed by Calvin's office, the custodian always had the same disposition, a greeting followed by some weird expression. But then the custodian, much like she always would drag her bucket and head down the hallway. And the two men would do as they normally did, which is acknowledge the weirdness of the event and go back to having their conversation until Ron had to get back to work and walked away. But everything would change on the day of their town hall. Now, it was the first town hall they had had since they came back to work, and it was something that happened quarterly. All of the employees would shuffle into the auditorium located at the center of the building, and then they would proceed to have a 2-hour-long meeting where information would be shared, there would be hail and farewells, and then you would go back to work. And in this meeting, they honored a list of everyone that they had lost during COVID. They talked about the employees who had transferred out, maybe gone to new offices, those who left the company for new opportunities, and those who sadly passed away. And for every member that had passed away, there was a picture. Now, during this part of the presentation, Calvin took a moment to survey the audience and see who he could see. And down in the front row, he noticed Ron sitting with the rest of his group. And then he looked across and noticed that there were a lot of people missing. But things got really chilling when Calvin returned his glance to the presentation. And 2 pictures later, he saw a face that he recognized, and it was the face of Ron. Now, Calvin looked back down where he saw Ron standing with his group and realized that he couldn't see Ron anymore. But as his eyes carried back up towards the presentation, he noticed a small eulogy next to Ron's picture. The eulogy said Ron had died 2 years ago back in 2021, almost 2 years before they came back to the office and around a year after COVID had started. Ron didn't make it out of the pandemic, and yet every morning, clear as day, Ron was standing inside of Calvin's office, having a full-blown conversation. And as he sat here processing this, everything started to make sense. The constant weird looks from the custodian, the fact that Ron's visits happened every morning like clockwork, it was something he could almost count on. The fact that every morning, at the exact same time, Ron would find a reason to leave. Now, to this day, Calvin doesn't know what to think about it and why Ron might have come back to visit him. But I want to know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you have any scary office or work stories. You can drop them in my comments or DM me. I want to know if you guys like this story. Again, what are your thoughts on it? Anyways, I will see you guys in my next video.
Bruh. How many of y'all thought it was the custodian that was dead, bruh? Said the freaking, your friend Ron was unalive? Ron! Pour one out for Ron, bruh, cause what? It makes so much sense. See, this is the difference between me and my mom. I should have had her here react to this, but she just got off of, I don't know if y'all follow her on YouTube, but she just got off of fast, so everything's a little different. But, bruh, difference between me and my mom listen to a story, I'll listen to a story and just listen. My mom would have already known it was Ron who was dead. Would have already known. She would have stopped the video and been like, so Ron is about to die, right? He's dead, right? I'd be like, but she's so good at this. Like, I was telling her that she needs to do the murder mystery dinners. Like, I was like, yo, you should really do that. Like, if you're trying to make friends or whatever, or just go out and get out, murder mysteries are legit the shit. Like, literally, they have sleepovers in mansions that you do murder mysteries. Like, the shit is lit. Absolutely lit. Want to go to one. But my mom would excel at that. Like, oh my gosh, so good. Bruh. But Ron, bro, it makes so much freaking sense now. Why she was just like, dude is just talking to himself like every day. Like, I see it now. That's crazy. I couldn't imagine how he felt. Maybe, I don't know why. Like, maybe Ron, it was familiar, it was routine. So when he got back to the office, he just kept up with the routine. Maybe Calvin needed that. Like, how did Calvin not know that he passed away, though? Because with my mom's job, when people pass away, they'll get email and they all know, or they just all know somehow. They just all know and they just keep up with each other. So I don't know. That's really sad, though. Dang. Wow. Mind blown, because I was not even thinking. I was just like, custodian. Okay, you know. But comment below if you thought it was, if you just knew it was Ron. You just knew it was Ron. Comment below.
So I've actually refused to talk about this story in the past because it has freaked me out, and I felt like people would think I'm crazy. I'm healthy. I don't want to hurt myself. I'm mentally stable. I'm completely, you know, a responsible adult. I'm literally in the parking lot of my job. You know, I am fine. I think I was in another dimension for a brief moment, and I didn't even know. So at the time, I was living in my family home, and I was in my bedroom at my desk working on something. My sister then 5 minutes later comes into my room, freaked out, saying, "Where were you?" I told her I was in my room. She said she had come in 5 minutes ago looking for me in my room. Walked through my whole room, was not in there. I told her that's crazy because I was in here. She was convinced I wasn't in the room.
Bruh. That is weird, though. But I've walked in rooms and not realized that there was a person sitting there. Like, I guess you get so used to seeing how a room looks, like how it is, and you just do not see. Like, literally today, it happened today. I walked into a room and expected to see somebody who's always in the room. But when I didn't see them, it's like I didn't really notice. I saw someone else. It was someone else, but my mind made me think it was the person that I usually see. So when I went back, I was like, what did you get here? Like, literally. So it could have been a trick of the mind. And especially if you're tucked away. If you're not an eye, like, line shot, maybe that could happen. Look, I'm just thinking of what it could. Like, I've experienced things like that where you just don't realize it's somebody in the room who's been in the room the whole time, you know? But maybe it wasn't. Maybe you did jump into another timeline and your sister was just like, where you at, and was looking for you. Y'all was playing hide and seek. Bruh, can you imagine that? Playing hide and seek on different dimensions and timelines? Bruh, ultimate game. Ultimate game. But that's real creepy. I would be freaked out too. If I was your sister, like, no. I looked everywhere, because when I lose stuff and I look like them damn razor blades. Look everywhere, it can't find it, and they come back and it's there, bro. Oh yeah, we got a problem. We got a problem for real. Cause why? Like this video, follow all the creators, and subscribe.